is the House to now adjourn, and I give the call to the honourable member for Canberra.
Thank you, Speaker. In this sitting fortnight, I've had the opportunity to attend 2 briefings from aid workers in Gaza. One was organised by my Labor colleague, the member for Reid, Sally Situ, and that was with workers from UNICEF who are currently in Gaza, and they joined us online. We were able to talk with them and hear from them directly. And another was on Monday this week at a briefing organised by Senator David Pocock with Médecins Sans Frontières, where we heard from Aaron Jegan, Head of Mission of the Occupied Palestinian Territories, where he's responsible for MSF's health-related programming in Gaza, Scarlett Wong, a clinical psychologist and mental health activity manager for MSS, responsible for coordinating the mental health emergency response in southern Gaza, and Dr Sanjay Adsamili, who was working as a surgeon there. And at Senator Pocock's briefing, there were many from the Canberra community there in the theatre here at Parliament House. And I just want to thank both the member for Reid and Senator Pocock for organising these briefings, because I think it's incredibly important that people have the opportunity to hear from people who are there on the ground in Gaza. Now, unsurprisingly, both of these briefings were incredibly confronting. We saw horrific injuries, particularly of children, and we saw a health system that has been completely destroyed to a point that it was incapable of really helping these people, in spite of the wonderful help of these workers. And we saw a worsening humanitarian crisis with people unable to access water and food. And I was really struck by the bravery and the selflessness of these aid workers. People who updated their wills and wrote goodbye letters to their loved ones and headed into what is currently hell on earth to help others. And I just want to, very sincerely say that we all owe them our deepest gratitude and admiration for what these aid workers are doing. But what really struck me was the senselessness of this, the senseless killing of innocent people, so many of them children, and so many of them their lives destroyed because their entire families have been killed. Horrific injuries from which they will never recover, and of course, trauma from which they will never recover, and man-made, inflicted by others, including the man-made starvation that is happening there. Little children and babies being treated for severe malnutrition that could so easily never have been caused and could easily be prevented if aid were able to get in there. And this must stop. We need an immediate ceasefire, and we need an enduring path to peace. And I note that it's been 6 months since our government joined many other countries at the UN in voting for that ceasefire. We also reiterate calls that hostages be released so that this can be progressed. And the Netanyahu government must heed the calls of the international community to halt their attacks on Rafah, where almost half of Gaza's population went to shelter and were told they would be safe. International law and the ICC must be respected. Just last night, 27 people have been killed and dozens injured in an Israeli strike on a school in Al-Nusrat. This is part of a renewed operation in central Gaza by Israel. The school was run by UNRWA and was housing hundreds of displaced families. I just want to acknowledge so many people in my community who are rightfully just so deeply distressed by this. And I want to thank them for continuing to write to me about this. And I want to acknowledge their right to peaceful protest, and peaceful is an important word there. But I understand where they're coming from, and I talked with a young woman outside my office protesting there who said, I just want to stand here until this stops. And I just want to say to my community that I feel this, that we all do. We all want this to stop. And I thank them for their advocacy, but please know that I am listening. Thank you.
It being 5 p.m.